The Honorable Jimi Benson.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for receiving us here today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You, to me, are not just an honorable, you also represent me in the other side of Lagos, in the trenches of Lagos. Now, the National Assembly, the legislative arm of government, to me, I say is the symbol of democracy because it's the only difference between military rule and civilian dispensation. Despite that, it appears that you lawmakers that are expected to be the closest to the people, you don't enjoy so much affection. You're almost the most despised. You're only popular when the people are ready to bash either the institution or individual lawmakers. Why do you think it is like that?
Yes, I think it's a misconception. It has to do with the wrong notion or the lack of understanding of the roles of a parliamentarian. I won't blame the populace, I will blame military rule. If the judiciary and the executive were 100 years old, the legislature will be 60 years old because military rule has, anytime there's a military takeover, the first thing they suspend is the constitution and the legislature. So institutional memory or memory of the roles of a parliamentarian is limited in Nigeria. They think we're at par with the executive, whereas our roles are lawmaking, oversight, and representation.
Okay, so the lack of consistency, in the life of the legislative arm may be the reason you have not enjoyed so much popularity.
I believe so.
Okay.
But not that I don't really agree that we don't enjoy popularity. Some of us enjoy huge popularity as well. Some of us have been able to appropriately inform our constituents about the role of the legislature. And some of us who make laws or initiate bills that cater for their needs still get some sort of accolades and are popular amongst their constituents.
And staying on popularity, I don't think the laws or the bills you get initiate are what gets you that popularity. I think it's a function of how many of you really invest in constituency projects. And when we went on retreat, they told us the functions of lawmakers, representation, oversight functions, and lawmaking. I did not see where constituency projects fall in. So it leaves some of us bewildered and say, look, is constituency project just a strategy to get the people to get and guarantee your second or third run, or it's actually a function expected to perform by lawmakers?
I think it's a function because if you look at the roles of a parliamentarian, representation is there. So if I'm representing the people, I represent them in fact and in deed. I represent them by making laws to govern them. I represent them by attracting projects to my federal constituency or various federal constituencies. So a parliamentarian should also be able to use his influence, his clout, his office to attract federal presence into his or her constituency. So I believe it's part of what we do. Some even use it to attract employments, appointments. So it's in that representation cliche that all that falls into.
So constituency project is indeed for some functions expected by lawmakers to do.
Yes, I believe so.
So how does it really work? Are you giving the contract or you influence?
There's also a misconception about that. Your job is to influence projects. So you influence the project. It is placed within an MDA. So the MDA appoints the contractor. In most cases, I always advocate that they even give the contractor a performance bond. So in the event that he absconds or he does a shady job, you can easily crystallize the performance bond. So it is an opportunity given to a lawmaker to put projects within their federal constituency, but those projects are not executed by them, but executed by the MDA.
Now, going back to the popularity, I think one of the reasons, if you ask me, why the lawmakers and by extension the institution may not enjoy as much popularity is that the people do not even understand how does the institution work. For example, before I came here, there are many who think lawmakers sit once a week, and there are many who think they come and go as they wish. But upon resumption, I've seen that it's quite different. There are lawmakers that work through all through the week, round the clock. So I think the people would benefit if you give us an overview of how the institution, the House of Representatives, how does it really function?
So the House of Reps works through the plenary and it works through committees. Plenary we do 3 times in a week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But the major work of the parliament is in the committee stage. So I'm chairman House Committee on Defense. I attend to my committee issues on my committee and agencies under me 24 hours daily. At times it almost even dovetails into, it affects my time at plenary. So we are mostly busy outside of plenary. Plenary is where you see us in the gallery talking and arguing and debating. That, I say, is 30% of our role and responsibility. Majority of it is done in committee stage.
Beautiful. You are a long-standing member. I think you've been here since Dogara.
Yes, that's not long-standing. That's just 2 terms. I'm into my 3rd term. A long-standing member will be a member who's done over 5 terms.
Oh, okay.
But in Nigerian parlance, I'm long-standing. In quotes.
So you qualify as a senior member in the House, a ranking member, so to speak, without necessarily going into comparison. Being one with experience and having been under the leadership of different speakers, without going into comparison, how will you judge or how will you assess the parliament under Speaker Abbas?
I must say that we've been very blessed with great speakers. Dogara was a very great speaker. Femi Gbajabiamila took it a notch higher. Our present speaker, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, came in with a toga. They called him Biliaminu because he did something that is unprecedented. He had 74 bills. Yeah, so he comes with a bag of experience. I call him a tri-sector athlete. He's got traditional experience from being part of the Iyan Zazao Emirates. So there's a form of wisdom that comes with that. He's been a teacher all through his life. There's a form of wisdom that comes with that. He's also a PhD holder. There's a scholar. There's a form of intelligence and wisdom that comes with that. So if you combine that into 3, he's an MRAP. You know what an MRAP is? I'm chairman defense. An MRAP is a battle, like an APC carrier, that can destroy and do a lot of things. So he's one who comes in that and he's added so much value. He's commanded the troops well. He's very witty. He's very assertive. He's very knowledgeable. He's a man of wisdom. An academic, so he also has a very broad knowledge of the economy and where Nigeria should be. He's thoroughly keyed into the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, and he's also loved by Mr. President and the executive, so which also it's good for the parliament. So there's interdependence and goodwill for all. So that's how I say it.
So I would say he's rewarding the trust the lawmakers have in him, giving him over 350 votes.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented, record-breaking indeed.
Unprecedented, yeah.
Yeah, we saw at the unveiling of the legislative agenda, and it's my first, and I saw it highly attended, decorated. We had the We have Akumi.
Yeah,
This,
the SGF.
SGF.
Yeah.
We had the Senate President.
Yeah.
Many senators, in fact, some of the lawmakers all the way from Lagos
Yeah.
were present.
Exactly.
It was a big deal indeed. But to the ordinary man there, you may say, what's the legislative agenda? What's
the legislative agenda is like our manifesto. It is what we stand by. It is what we believe will foster the renewed hope agenda for Mr. President. It has very 8 critical issues that underpins it: open parliament, health, education, security, and other relevant aspects that will foster a greater Nigeria. Mr. Speaker has a vision and a mission to ensure that he finishes strong and he assists the executive in fostering a new greater Nigeria.
Thank you, Honorable Jimmy. Member representing the Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just one. The house is barely 5 to 6 months old, the 10th house. And so we have more than 3.5 years to go. Where do you see the 10th house sailing to in the next 3.5 years under Speaker Abbas strategy?
Yes, like I spoke about the legislative agenda. The legislative agenda has created a roadmap that will lead us into 3 things. 1 is prosperity, 2 is prosperity, 3 is prosperity.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.